Peace, God. Peace, Goddess. Peace and blessings. I'm in Gaston, Alabama now. And I've been here since October. February now. The vibes done changed. Cause now, like Gaston is like the hood part of Alabama. So I was on some country vibes. I still am. But there's been a lot of like southern rap and trap. But one song that's like really been sticking with me is Son to Me by Zach Bryan. Where he says, you come from a good place and a happy family. The only bad you've ever done was to see the good in me. And I've been waiting for the day that the good Lord willing send you out my way. I seen bad luck, hard times, all that in between. Sweetest of the sunflowers, how you're the sun. My spirit called me here, like, right now I'm chilling like in a little, I don't know what to call it. I guess the canyons maybe. And these, I don't know if they're technically called that. But I'm right here I'm right down in Noccalula Falls. Statue should be, it's further down there. I'm right in Noccalula Falls. And I've been working on my crown chakra. I got my headphones in. Hopefully, quality is decent. But I've been working on the crown chakra. And this chakra is ruled by Saturn. Once you ascend past the crown chakra, if you watch the TV series Avatar: The Last Airbender, it's kind of like an American anime. That's what we call it. But it's not technically anime because it's American. And it's more related to Chinese culture. But during that show where Aang meets Guru Pati, and he has him open his 7 chakras. When he gets to the heart chakra, he lost his entire family when the Fire Nation raided the air temples. And the air nation is supposed to be Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. They're supposed to be the monks who give up all their earthly attachments, and that's why they fly and levitate. They rule the air. And so this has a lot to do with the crown chakra and the heart chakra, because the heart chakra is air. A lot of times we try to attach ourselves to things we love and people we love, but this binds us to this world and to material and to people. And what I'm learning in the crown chakra is to release attachment. When Aang got to the 7th chakra, he almost reached enlightenment. Which meant he could go into the avatar state at will. But before he came in contact with his soul in the 7th heaven, he heard Katara's voice. because he was attached to Atara, or he was attached to Katara. And Guru Patik told him that he couldn't ascend without releasing the attachment, that he had to let her go. And Aang chose. So after the Avatar, the last bender, there was Korra, the last airbender, his next incarnation. Korra can go into the Avatar state at will. Aang never could, because he chose his attachment. Much like, I'm getting a theme like, surrounding my relationship and my love life currently, it's been Samson and Delilah, and it's also correlating to the Greek story, the biblical story Samson and Delilah, which is based on the Greek story about Hercules and Meg. But I don't know if that was her real name in Greek history. But in the Hercules Disney movie, he was attached to her, and he almost died trying to save her. And this is how he gained his divinity. But he chose to keep his earthly attachment and to remain on earth, much like Aang. If there are more than 7 chakras, there's chakras below the root and there's chakras above the crown. And each chakra corresponds to the chakra below it. At the heart, there is the thin line between heaven and hell, love and hate. And so it's simply mirrored from the heart chakra. The heart chakra is your center. And so the earth star, which is below the root chakra, correlates with the soul star, which is above the crown chakra. Once you reach the soul star, you can access your Akashic records, your psychic gifts, and you can even send your spirit, or your soul rather, to possess and animate, like what you see in Child's Play, when he calls to Olodumare and he binds his soul to a doll and animates it. This is possible with animals. You see the Native Americans do this all the time. They bind their spirits with their animals. And this is where Pokemon comes from. Before a lot of the wars and colonization, natives were one with the animals. They could talk with them. They could understand each other, and they were one. They could even take the form when going to sleep or a deep meditation to astral project and be one with the animal. And so what I'm learning most about the crown chakra is that the crown chakra it deals with connection, but it's blocked by attachment. And so this chakra, the planet that correlates with this chakra, is Saturn. The masculine aspect of Saturn is Aquarius, the water bearer. And the negative aspect of this planet is Capricorn, the goat. And so that's air and earth, the opposites which balance each other, which balance the polarities, which balance the planet. It's the Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings. And so rings are cycles. And much like the sun has the planets revolving around it, Saturn has its own rings, its own moons. And I don't know how many moons Saturn has, but it has the most rings, and it has quite a few moons along with Jupiter. And these are just cycles. And so these are people that gravitate and come into a cycle at times or periods of meeting. These are friends, family, this is Saturn has a large gravitational pull. It also deals with karma, and its karma. It is the Lord of the Rings, and currently, I've just went through my Saturn return, but right after I went after my Saturn return, poof, right into my Sade Sati, where Saturn is transiting my moon sign, Aries. Right now, Saturn is currently retrograde in Pisces, but it is going direct February 13th, 2026, which is in another week, the day before Valentine's Day. Now, the thing about karma, which I've been realizing is, I've been thinking like, it's just like, what you put out is what you're gonna get back. And a lot of times on the karmic path, like we really don't understand. People say karma's a bitch, da da da, hate karma, and they say dharma. But karma, Libra is exalted in Saturn, and Saturn is just, or Libra is justice, and Saturn is karma, and so it's the balance. So what you put out is what you're gonna receive. Now, I happen to like read the Bible and believe in Jesus Christ on a deeper level, not just the religions and the denominations. There's so many. I understand on a personal level because I talk with God, and so I understand the parables and the metaphors and even the astrological references, as well as angel numbers. Kind of like the Da Vinci Code. The Bible's a history book, and it's really deep. There's so many layers to it. And so I had a lot tied to the fall here, which I had to release. And it felt like a spell. As soon as I released it, I felt like my soul released. And it was because I binded myself with someone in a relationship. And I'm understanding to ascend that I must release my attachments. There's a difference between a connection and attachment. When you attach to someone, you depend on them for everything. You depend on them to give you a feeling. You depend on them to, like, you play this role game, like your role as a boyfriend, your role as a husband, her role as a wife, her role as a girlfriend. Any sort of dynamic, you stick to a role, and you're attached to that role and that ego and that identity. And so we can share free love where it comes and it goes, much like birds. And then now the birds by the weekend is significant. Girl, I'm just a bird. Girl, I'm just another bird. Don't make me fall in love with a nigga like me. Like me. So it's like birds fly. Everybody, a lot of people envy birds because we look up and we're like, wow, they're so free. Look at it fly. And for years we've been trying to develop contraptions to levitate, to glide or fly, soar, like the eagle. That's our national bird, the eagle. I don't know if you've ever seen an eagle take off, but it's majestic, it's magnificent. The takeoff, like, I know like people like get a new car, they get a V8, a Hemi, a SRT, and the first thing they eagle's takeoff. It's like it will kick everything around it. Dirt, leaves, rocks. An eagle's takeoff is fierce. But if you long to fly, you have to be that balloon without a string, without any attachments. A TV A power cord is attached to a TV, but the plug is connected to the socket. So you could take the socket out, but you can't take the cord out of the TV because it's attached. It would damage the TV and the cord. And so Buddhists believe that all suffering comes from attachment. And I'm really understanding in the crown chakra. And Capricorn is, I'm in a relationship with a Capricorn now. And Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. And in tarot, it's the devil card. I'm a Gemini. And I'm completely the opposite in air sign. And I happen to have Aquarius stellium in Gemini in the 11th house. And so the Lover's card and the Devil card, they look exactly the same, but in reverse. They're complete opposites. Because you see, one is chained by the devil, and one, they're sharing love together, and they're looking towards the angel. And so ascending past this chakra is very difficult. Like, I cut my hair. I have been growing my hair for 10 years because my son was born. He's 10 years old. He happens to be a Capricorn too. He was born on the winter solstice on the 22nd, December 2014. He's 10 years old now. And I grew my hair like to show that I had roots or ties to this world. And the crown chakra deals with connection. And so it also connected me to my environment and to my history, and I was able to stay in my ego within that 10 years up until cutting my hair. And everybody liked my hair because it was all cool dreads, like, freeform. I even love my hair, just having it. But it's better to release your attachments before you're forced to. We all have to leave this world the same way we came. And while we come here, a lot of times, like my grandfather used to say all the time, you're born to die. What matters is what you do while you're here. We think when we come here, after a while, we begin to think this is all that we know, this is all that there is, this is our first time being here, and YOLO. And we want to attach ourselves to people, places, identities, and things. And that's what binds our spirit and binds our soul and creates all life's problems and issues that we sing about and that we drink about, fight about, argue about. It creates all these issues, this discourse. And I realized that, like, as I've been like going on this karmic journey, like I've realized, like, I'm like, wait, I'm doing the right thing. Like I'm doing everything with love. I'm doing the right thing. Like, and I'm doing it unto others how I would want to be done. But God set me down and He showed me, like, and I was just like, I never realized that. So the Capricorn has the man and woman attached to the devil. They're bonded by addiction. But it's the devil. So how would you be bonded by the devil? Sin. Sin is bondage. And all sin stems from the flesh. Our spirit enters this world and we are attached to our flesh. And we're supposed to remain at a 7-10 ratio. But a lot of times we increase our flesh and we give the flesh power over our spirit. And this is why we fast and meditate and pray, to break and release those chains that our flesh has over us. Our fleshly desires of lust, of sloth, of greed, of ego, of pride, of jealousy, of envy. And so it's our flesh that's warm with with the spirit right at the front, with all the chakras really. And so I thought if I could do like, because it's not what you do but how you do it. I thought if I could sin, like I could choose my own little sins. Like, we pick our poison. I thought if I could choose my own little sins, like fornication, sex before marriage, adultery, masturbation. I thought, well, it's not bad, I'm not hurting anybody, But I really didn't realize that I'm hurting the one person that loves me most. And that's God. You can't just hurt yourself. When we sin, like the wages of sin are death. It's a spiritual death. And it could even manifest a physical death. And it binds us to the devil and to our lower nature. And it cuts off our consciousness and our connection with God. God doesn't forsake us, we forsake Him. And so I'm really realizing it's not just my ego, my identity that I'm attached to. My ego, my conceptualization of myself and life and other people and how life should be. My understanding of how I receive like wealth, money, prosperity. If I think like I have to do this job, I have to be in this occupation, I have to work with this person, I have to be in business with this, I have to play the lottery with this. I cut off the infinite possibilities of the universe and God. God can do all things. But if I don't have that faith, I'll think, okay, I have to work this job. That's the only job I get. This is the best paying job I've gotten so far. This person in front of me, they're the hottest person, they're the nicest, sweetest person I've met. Maybe they have, certain flaws, but they're, And it's like, you don't have to settle. And you don't have to attach yourself to anything. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, for He leadeth me near still waters. Worry not what you should eat or what you should wear, your clothes on your back. Because doesn't He clothe the birds and feed the birds? And so like, I'm understanding that we have a plan for our life. Other people have a plan for our life. Our friends, our family, our partners, the system, our bosses, our co-workers. Everybody you meet, they have a plan for you on how you should fit in their life and what they would like for you to contribute or how they perceive you. Even like, there's even an ego. Like, when you meet someone and you make an impression, that first impression, they're like, okay, this is who you are and this is what I like. And you have to stay in that mold. And if you deviate from that, I don't like you anymore. You're not useful anymore. You're not who I thought I was. And you have to understand that everything is subject to change. And it's like it's that rigidness. It's that resistance. It's the ego that wants to remain the same, to have the same forever. Everything fluctuates and goes up and down and goes in cycles and comes back around. And so everything changes. And change is a part of life, just like the 4 seasons. And just cycles of change, vibrations, frequencies, alternating currents. And so I realized that I was attached not just to my ego, not just to my friends, my family, not just to my identity, not just to my religion and my understanding and concept of who I am and the world around me, not just to the foods that I eat, the addictions that I have, the thought patterns, the emotional patterns. in everything in life. We love to indulge in everything that makes us feel good or alive. But then we attach ourselves to those things. And we're not supposed to do that. We're passing through this way. We're not of it. We're simply passing through. When the time comes, when God says it's our time, and it's not about control. Everybody has a plan for your life, but the one plan you want to be on board with, the one plan you want to align with, is God's plan for your life. Lean not on your own understanding. You got to understand that God is all powerful. He's also omnipotent, and all knowing, all seeing. And time is an illusion. What we perceive as time is simply cycles. If the sun comes up like it does every day, and the moon comes up like it does every day, this is how we based our early conceptualization of time with the sun dial. The shadow that's created by the sun is moving in a circular motion. Now we get the 12 angles, the 12 zodiacs, the 4 directions. Time is an illusion. We really don't even understand time. And everyone ages differently. And everyone is on a different frequency, so they are on a different time. Like if you were to smoke weed, things may slow down. If you were to drink alcohol, things may speed up. And you wouldn't even need a substance. You can do all these things with your mind. And your heart rate accelerates. And you release adrenaline. Things in front of you, and your reality and your perception, because your frequency is so high, things will slow down. And so time will change for you. Just you. Another thing they show in Buddhist culture, if you look at Buddha, the old paintings, everyone had their own aura, their own vibe. Everyone is a universe within themselves, like Bob Marley says. Everyone is in their own little worlds. In this dimension, we're separate. We're separated by space, time, and other vessels. But in the highest dimension, all is one, and one is all. Separation is an illusion, the greatest illusion. And so that's why we choose attachment out of fear. And also for comfort, familiarity, lack of understanding. What I've been really realizing in the crown chakra is I've been attached to sin. And the wages of sin are death. You can't do these things. Like everything has karma. It may take us a time, like once we get our karma, it may take us some time to understand why it's a sin. Instead of just reading it. Because, I remember when they set us down in church and they told us all these sins, and I'm just like, oh, God. Like, I'm like 10 years old. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, I can't do, wait, if I even think about having sex with another woman, I've committed adultery. Like, what the hell? Like, I'm just like, and I'm sitting there looking at, these girls like in pantyhose, like in stockings, like, and it's just, it's just like, oh shit, like I'm doomed. Because it's like, sin feels like so unavoidable, but it's really not. There's a verse in the Bible where Jesus says to the woman, where he says, he without sin, they were going to stone her because she sinned. And he interrupts them. He says, him without sin, cast the first stone. And so it's rhetorical. No one is without sin. Nobody is perfect. But we like to condemn another and judge another. But it says, judge not lest ye be judged. And so simply judge it. That's karma. Judge not lest ye be judged. And so after he stops them from stoning her, he says to her, go and sin no more. There's another verse where he says to a man, walk before me and be thou perfect. Sin is a choice, even if we've trained ourselves subconsciously to simply fall in the pattern of it. That's what I'm learning at Saturn's rings. A ring is a cycle. It's a pattern. You can even say it's a curse. That's what cursive is. That's what a circle is. It's a cycle. And so you have to break that cycle of karma. And we come from past lives even. We can't escape our karma. We've done things in past lives. We've done things in this life. We've done things when we were in school, when we got older, when we were young, when we were older. We can't escape those things. Everything that we've done, we'll pay for. Karma doesn't miss anybody. But that's not up for us to decide for the next person. That's up for God to decide. And me getting karma and seeing he's all allowed me to see people get their karma firsthand. I don't doubt it. In fact, it's only strengthened my faith. But what I'm learning is we have to break those cycles, those thought patterns when we wake up in the morning. If they go negative and we think about the people who hurt us, or we think about fear, we think about racism, we think about violence in the community, we think about scarcity, there's a lack of money, interest, taxes, gas prices. We think about our lovers, our exes, and how if we're in a happy relationship or we'll never find love, or if we are in a happy relationship, what is our partner doing? Does our partner really love us? Do they really are they cheating on us? Are they really going to be with us, right? There's so many things. As soon as we wake up, we begin these spirals, Saturn's rings, these thought patterns through the 12 hours of the day and 12 hours of night. And then they're not just in the brain, they're also as above, so below. They're your emotions in your heart. Sometimes we have a feeling that gives us a thought, or a thought which gives us a feeling. That's the 8. Eternity. And so sometimes we'll get in moods. Like a woman has a period. We're aligned with the sun. We rise with the sun. The moon, we rise with the sun every morning. As men, we're more attuned with the masculine energy, which is one of the most masculine sources of energy is the sun. And one of the most feminine sources of energy is the moon. And so every 28 days, a woman is on her cycle. It transits throughout all 12 signs. Mother, maiden, and crone. There's even liveth the dark side of the moon, which the sun never sees, but because the sun projects its light to the moon, Lilith exists. Shadow cannot be created without light. In the duality of the world, one of the 7 hermetic principles, one thing cannot exist without its opposite. so this is to give balance. Everything is in cycles, and what we perceive as time is simply cycles. How long will you remain stuck in the cycle of love and heartbreak? In the cycle of happiness and pain? In the cycle of being rich and being poor? How you doing? In the cycle of being up and being down, in a cycle of back and forth. And so we choose these based on our actions, based on our energy. And once you understand like God, how God works and how the universe works, once you read your Bible and you pray and you ask God to reveal it to you, He will send the Holy Spirit to reveal it to you, the divine feminine. As a part of the Trinity. The church has ruled her out. It's much like Mary Magdalene. One thing cannot exist without its opposite. And everything is for balance. Without the moon, the sun would be out of balance. We always hear about the solar flares and how hot it gets in the sun, even forest fires, deserts, Saharas. The moon is balanced. The moon balances the sun. And the sun balances the moon, and the moon and the sun. And once a month, or maybe even 3 days a month, the moon can shine just like the sun does and light up the night. Everything is connected. And so, what I'm learning is to release my attachment to sin. Release my attachment to my ego, my identity. Like once you release all of your attachments, you are then open for any possibility. There are infinite possibilities in the universe. When you understand quantum physics, you could have woke up and done anything this morning. Even this evening, you could have done anything virtually that you chose to do. What to think, what to feel, where to go, and what to do. These are choices we make every day. And sometimes we make these choices consistently, and we remain in a loop or a cycle. And so once we break these cycles, the quickest way to break these cycles is to stop sinning and to repent. And the easiest way to break a cycle is to consistently create another 21 days, 3 weeks. It says you can break a habit or create one. And that's a choice we make. And once we rearrange that in the crown chakra, we can align with God's will and purpose for our life. Does that mean we're going to be perfect? That means we'll never backslide or shit happens. Shit happens. You know? But when you consistently make that choice, you will see a change in your life, and that's in any aspect of your life. And once you release all these attachments, you will ascend. And you'll no longer be attached, but connected. When you're attached, you're like, when you're connected, you flow free. Which opens up so many opportunities for you. But if you're in a contract, then that's an attachment. But if you're a free agent, it's up to you. Do you accept the offer? Or are you going to pass? Or are you going to bind yourself with money? don't know, $1 million, that's a lot of money. I'm gonna agree to this. Yeah, it's worth it. It is worth it. We don't just sell our soul with money. Hell, I've been selling my soul with love. Or at least in it, rather. Even waking up to go to work every day. Or putting another person's needs before my own, whether they be emotional, mental, or physical. Because I love you. There's many ways we sell our soul. What? It's not a thing where you sell it eternally. Though you can come back again and again and again and do the same thing. It's a choice we make daily. And at any moment, not even just the day, at any hour, minute, or moment, you can choose otherwise to pivot and change the cycle. And once you ascend past the crown chakra, you'll go into the soul star. And this, once you reach the soul star, this is another level. This is like, say the Matrix, or the universe, or the world was ran like a computer simulation, like the Matrix. Once you reach the soul star, that's like developer's mode, where you simply enter in the code and you spawn something or you manifest something. Once you get to the higher frequencies, it takes so much discipline to maintain, which is why right at the crown, it deals with discipline. But also the element of Aquarius, which is independence and sovereignty. But yeah, it's getting a little chilly out here. I brought some sangria to drink with the ancestors. There's an interesting story about Noccalula. She didn't want to marry one of the chiefs of her tribe. And so she'd rather take that leap of death over this fall. And they've made a statue immortalizing her, telling the story. And it makes me think about how passionate that is. It makes me think about America and the foundation of it. I've been thinking about that a lot in the South. Give me liberty or give me death. That's how I take Noccalula's leap. Just like Romeo and Juliet. I know it's so strong, like it's so strong and significant around this time. Because Valentine's Day is in about 2 weeks. Love is your strongest emotion. The heart chakra is the strongest chakra. And that's because God is love. And love is God.